time we acknowledge that not all Democrats are the same. Yeah. I think all of us here in this room and countless Americans throughout the nation know this so well. It was, James Baldwin said, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And we are tired of candidates and elected officials who aren't willing to face challenges that everyday Americans already face. Unaffordable health care, unaffordable housing, unaffordable education. I want to quote an attendee of one of Alexandria's rallies in St. Louis, Missouri, and she said, quote, "She talked about things everyone wants, especially if you're a parent. Education for your kids, health care for your kids, things you want." That sounds like a supporter to me. But that was Fox News commentator. Scared. And she went on to say, "It's easy to fall into that trap and say, my kids deserve this." And maybe, just maybe, the government should be responsible for helping me with that. I think we all know what we believe government should be doing. And I am so proud to hail from this city here in San Francisco, where I was able to author a measure that has now made San Francisco the only city in the nation to make community college free. We did that with an ultra-luxury real estate transfer tax on those that were making the most money in our real estate industry and asking them to just pay a little bit more to make this city more equitable for all of us. And 62% of San Franciscans voted yes. And in our inaugural semester last fall of 2016, San Francisco City College of San Francisco saw a 50% increase in enrollment of San Francisco residents in community college. I want a woman who's going to fight for this in Congress. And this past June, despite a $2 million campaign against it, we passed universal affordable child care here in San Francisco. Again, we are asking those that are making the most, office property owners that make over $1 million a year, to contribute just a little bit more to invest in their workers and working families here in San Francisco. And next year, it's slated to bring $155 million in to make childcare affordable for every working family in San Francisco. As a progressive woman of color who has run in the city and also has run to change the face of the Democratic Party in 2016, along with many other women who are here in this room today, like Leah LaCroix and Sandra Fewer and Pratima Gupta and Frances Shea and Petra De Jesus and Sophie Maxwell and Elizabeth Alexander, I can say we are hungry for change in our party that claims to represent us. And we are asking our representatives to do something courageous, which is to actually represent us. representative hails from Flint, Michigan, or St. Louis, Missouri, or San Antonio, Texas, or the Bronx and the Queens in New York City. We care deeply about who gets to represent us here in this nation, because these members of Congress, they don't just introduce bills and vote on bills that impact their constituents. They introduce bills and vote on bills that impact all of us. And I want a woman that's going to fight for us in Congress. And this woman, and by the way, I just have to say again, we represent the majority. And this woman gave us faith in a system by running a people power campaign in the Bronx and the Queens and challenged our Democratic Party to more strongly represent its base and not just the interests of big corporations who remain some of the largest donors of the Democratic Party. And having a debate and dialogue on income inequality, on affordable health care and housing, and free, tuition-free education is strengthening the Democratic Party. In fact, similar to someone else that many of us supported in 2016, Senator Bernie Sanders, Alexandria is growing our voting base and the base for the Democratic Party, increasing the political participation of Americans who may not have participated before because they did not see a candidate that they believed in or had never met a candidate until Alexandria showed up at their doorstep. And she said it herself, it's not about moving to the middle, it's about expanding the electorate. One of my mentors said, we need to run towards people of color instead of away from them in order to win. We must go all in, investing in, inspiring, and mobilizing voters of color. In November 2016, there were 7.6 million more eligible voters of color than in 2012 when Obama won. Nearly a third of eligible voters in this country I missed that. I thought I said something amazing. Nearly a third of eligible American voters across the country are people of color. And yet the Democratic Party spent almost nothing trying to mobilize African American, Latino, and Asian American voters in 2016. Alexandria has shown us that it's not enough to just stand up against Trump. We also need a bold, progressive vision, which is unapologetically about the people. And voters agree. She has proven we do not need to be timid in order to win. And so it is my honor to bring up the next and the youngest ever woman elected to the United States Congress, House of Representatives, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortéz.
Change the country.
Yeah.
Are we ready to change California? Are we ready to really throw down in San Francisco too? I'm so excited to be in here in movement with you all because that is what it's about. This is about movement. This is about how we're changing the country. This is about getting money out of politics. This is about tuition-free public college. This is about Medicare for all. This is about corporate-free politics. This is about criminal justice reform. This is about instituting the principles of justice, freedom, and economic dignity for all people in this country. And this is about movement. Because what that is going to take is a movement. And I'm just so excited and honored and thrilled and humbled to be joining you all in movement today. Because that is what it's going to take. It takes convening on a regular basis and making sure that we are reminded as to the importance of the work that we are here to commit today. So thank you all so much, and give yourselves a round of applause. Normal way to prepare as a human being for what is happening right now. It's like not a normal human experience. And literally, a couple of months ago, I was bartending in Minnesota. So literally, just imagine you just wake up one morning, CNN's writing articles about you, and you're like, that's some kind of my life right now. But I was telling the story a little bit earlier today, in that right after I won, it kind of was this little explosion, and but I still was doing work in my community, and I was buying a new pair of shoes, and I was kind of at the store, and the woman who was helping me, she was helping me pull out the size and all this stuff, and I go to pay for the shoes, and she reads the card. She goes, "Oh my God, it's you." And I was like, "Yeah, me. Yeah, I guess it's me. Yeah, it is me, I guess." And so then, people just want to take selfies with me. I'm like, "What is going on?" And so yesterday I flew in. I just came from Michigan, stumping for Abdullah Sayed. Energy on the ground, very exciting. So I was outside. We were doing a lot of organizing, and we're kind of out. It was hot in the sun. I get here, and I was like, "Oh man, I need a pair of sunglasses." And so I go to get a pair of sunglasses. The guy's helping me, try things on. And I'm taking an agonizingly long time. Anyways, I go pick out a pair, and I give him my card. And he looks at my card, and he goes, "Your name's Ocasio." He goes, "Wait, are you Puerto Rican?" And I was like, "Yeah!" And he was like, "That's awesome, I never took to all." I was like, "Oh my God, cool, that's proudissimo. Okay, bye." But it's such an amazing experience to be here, and what we see is just that exactly how excited and how ready this nation is to change in an ambitious way. When we were out,
all the walls have got to go! From Palestine to Mexico! All the walls have got to go! From Palestine to Mexico! All the walls have got to go! From Palestine to Mexico! All the walls have got to go! From Palestine to Mexico! All the walls have got to go!
Let Alexandria speak!
No, it's important. It's important because wherever we convene is a time for conversation. It's an opportunity to educate one another. And that we have to take those opportunities. We have to take every opportunity that we can to organize. And so I think that even in that opportunity, you know, I think it's important that like we even have that conversation as well. It's important, you know, and I just without like, whoa, there was a question. No, I think it is important to have that conversation. I know, I'll just go on a brief thing before I can bring it back in. But you know, I come from a community that has no civic representation, that is legislated into second-class citizenship. And I think it's important for us to see ourselves in others. As a Puerto Rican woman, I know that not having full civic personhood results in humanitarian crises, and it results in the lack of human rights. So I'm just thankful. I'm thankful to communities that are helping guide me and educate me as I see myself and others. And I appreciate those who do not stop in their advocacy to make sure that the most marginalized are heard. So thank you. And that's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. Because in a system where people are paid less than living wages, in a system where people are burdened with unconscionable levels of debt, in a system where rising costs of housing basically equal an opportunity to transfer wealth to those who already have too much, we are convinced that we are more marginalized and alone than we are. We are shamed into saying, we're shamed into not talking about having $20, $30, $50, $100,000 student loan debt. Yes. We are shamed into saying we can barely afford our rent at the end of the month. We are shamed into saying that we don't have health insurance because we can't afford it. And that shame, that lack of talking about it, contributes to the lack of power. So we gotta talk about it. So we gotta talk about it. Because way too many Americans make less than $30,000, $40,000 a year. Way too many. And in the wealthiest society in the history of humanity, we can have good things. But it takes organizing and it takes reaching outside of our circles. That it takes work. It takes work. What we did in New York 14, we had a community that is 70% people of color, that is half immigrant, that is overwhelmingly working class, that never had a person of color represent them in American history. I wish like I could clap and be like, woo, we did it, but also like, that's sad. And, but it's because these vestiges of power, concentrations of wealth, three generation political machines are perpetuating injustice. And we need to be really honest with ourselves and realize that injustice is not a partisan issue. Injustice exists everywhere. So for me, when they told me that I had to wait my turn, nah. Because we've been waiting for all of American history for justice. And we're not going to wait anymore. We're not going to wait anymore to address climate change, to switch to a renewable energy economy. We're not going to wait anymore for voting rights. We're not going to wait anymore. We're not going to wait anymore to educate our children. We're not going to wait. Because when it's possible now, we are morally obliged to do it now. And we are We were out-endorsed by infinity because when the denominator is 0, that's infinity. Every established political organization, every incumbent, everything endorsed and was stacked against us. But we're speaking truth to power. And no amount of money is gonna cut into the power of truth. No amount of money can do that. But we gotta be real clear about what our message is. We gotta be really clear what we're about, because we need to reclaim this party. We need to be the party of working class people. We need to be the party of people of color. We need to be the party of gender expanding and LGBT people. We need to be the party of immigrants. We need to be the party that fights for liberty and justice for all. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to commute, we're here to educate each other, and this is how we do it. In New York 14, we expanded the electorate 68% over the last off-year midterm primary. 68% more people voted. When I started, they said, you just need to pull a universe. You just need to knock on the doors of the people who voted in the last 3 primary midterm elections. And when they told me that, they said literally, quote, everyone else is a waste of time. What they said, everyone else is a waste of time. What I heard was people of color are a waste of time. That's what they were saying. They're saying people who work 2 jobs are a waste of time. They're saying people that couldn't afford to go to college are a waste of time. And I'm here to say that is not true. That is not true. Our swing voter is not red to blue, it's non-voter to voter. That's all it's saying. And the way we win those people over, I think we all know, they stay home because they don't feel like we're fighting hard enough for them. So the answer to get those people to vote is to fight harder. It's to talk about a federal jobs guarantee. It's to have conversations about universal basic income, about universal health care, about tuition-free college. We gotta fight harder. We have so much work to do, and we have to knock on every single door. We gotta knock on every damn door, as my favorite abuelito said. We have to knock on every damn door. We need to call every phone. We need to be writing postcards, and we need to be doing it up and down the ballot. And we are gonna keep that pressure on until we win. Until we win. People are not misunderstanding, and they feel like it's zero-sum. It's win or lose. And that if you lost, it wasn't worth doing it at all. We know that's not true, because movement is about advancing the front line everywhere. You lose by a little bit, you raise our organizing, you lose by a little bit, that next cycle, it's ours. We need to have a multi-cycle, long-game approach, because nobody else is thinking about the long run in this country. And that's our job. That's our job. Because I know that I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop until I can look at my grandkid and say, we saved this planet, we created healthcare, we extended tuition-free college, we created a just immigration system because we worked for it and you deserve it, and that's what we're going to do. And we start out with it. So you all know this movement. You all know that that's what we have to support. And what we need to do as progressive candidates is end the transactional culture of money and politics. It's not you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's pardon? It's not you scratch my back, I scratch yours. We need to say, hey, I'm gonna give it. That's what it is. No one else gives. End the reciprocation. End the transaction. If this is movement, if we have the same shared goals, we're gonna help. That's why I went to Kansas. That's why I went to Wichita. That's why we go to Kansas City and St. Louis. Because when they tell me that this doesn't work in the Midwest, they can't trick us. The Bronx ain't that different from Detroit. It's not that different from Birmingham. It's not that different from St. Louis. They don't want us to connect the dots. They don't want us to connect the dots. But nothing's gonna like that too. Because how we treat Flint is how we treat the Bronx, is how we treat St. Louis, is how we treat Baltimore. We're gonna connect those dots. We're gonna connect those dots. We are going to champion the needs of working class Americans. And once that happens, we're taking it over. This is a movement. You all know where those front lines of justice are, and the power is in your hands and nobody else's. And accountability to the people that you elect that accountability goes directly to you. You know, I often say, I was telling people, we were sitting down, they're like, well, with some of the organizations, and we were endorsed by Black Lives Matter, by Muslims for Progress, and by Our Revolution, and by DSA. And I said, okay, well, how do we work together? How do we move forward? And I said, well, I didn't take any corporate money, so as far as I'm concerned, you all are my lobbyists. But we're going to do it by expanding the electorate, educating and expanding the electorate, but that means we got to start early. Because when we expand the electorate, we can't wait until 2 months before an election. We have to be doing this work constantly. We have to be supporting each other constantly. So, I thank you all so very much. And it's just the first. We have some primaries coming up in 10 days. August 7th and August 11th. We've got Pamela Amy in Hawaii. We've got Cora Bush in St. Louis. We've got Shahrood Saad in Michigan. Rashida Tlaib in Michigan. Abdul Sayed, Michigan's really lucky this year. We have really amazing candidates. And we've got Ayanna Pressley in Massachusetts. And if we can elect a movement this year, we can advance this country a decade in 1 year. When you support, I can speak for our campaign, that in supporting our campaign right now, we're deploying organizers to those campaigns. We have support organizers, we support resources, because we know that this is a movement, and that their gain is our gain. Their success is our success. So thank you all so much.